This plant just glows with elegance, but there's so much more beneath the surface. What if I told you that beneath this plant's many hidden layers is a hidden story? So how do we uncover this story? Well, since plants don't speak, we'll have to look closely and explore these hidden layers to find out. And that's where the architecture of plants comes in. Hi guys, I'm Nick, a young architect and plant enthusiast living in South Africa. And in architecture, I've learned that in order to design something truly remarkable, we need to study existing structures to understand and to learn from them. And I have found that this way of thinking extends itself beautifully towards plants. See, plants have forms, lines, structures, and details just like architecture. And so by breaking these down, we can reveal hidden patterns and elements that aren't obvious at first glance. And I promise you, the deeper you go, the more fascinating it becomes. So join me as we, together, take a closer look at the Philodendron El Choco Red through the lens of an architect. See, this plant originates from the Choco region in Colombia, which is like really close to the equator. So it's gonna get sun for really a lot of hours during the day. But because it's a rainforest, it gets dappled sunlight. So these are the conditions. And temperature wise, it ranges between 24 to 28 degrees Celsius. The type of plant is a hemi-epiphytic aeroid, meaning that it can thrive in both the ground and against surfaces using its aerial roots. It has a climbing growth habit. This is just a fancy way of saying that it uses its aerial roots to support itself and ascend upwards. We say that this plant has an alternate phyllotaxis, which means that the leaves arrange alternately along the stem in a type of spiral. The leaves then move around the stem, and this helps maximize sunlight absorption. From this main stem and from these leaves arranging alternately is the petioles. This then starts to create the lines of the plant. The attachment of this petiole connects the leaf blade to the stem using a swollen node. And the total length of these petioles can range between 20 or 30 centimeters, depending on the plant's age. It is a thick, ribbed, slightly velvety finish and has really faint ridges along the petiole and get more closer to the leaf blade. So the petiole connects the leaves to the stem. And if we follow these lines, it takes us to the beginning of the leaf structure. The leaf has a really strong midrib, showing a pinnate venation with a central main vein and secondary veins branching off to the side. A really striking feature of these plants is that these veins are a pale to white color and they contrast beautifully against the leaves' deep velvety green. Not only do these secondary and primary veins from the front really stand out, they do so too in the back. The back of the leaf is filled with a copper reddish brown, and you can see each of these veins quite clearly from there. The plant also has a thicker midrib behind the leaf, really giving the leaf a lot of that support. Can you guys guess what this thing is? This is a cataphyll, and is basically a protective modified leaf that protects new leaves as they unfurl. Now everyone's favorite part, the foliage. The leaf shape is heart shape, and a fancy way of saying that is we say that it has a cordate shape and really defined lobes at the base of the leaf. The leaf size is a magical 20 to 50 centimeters long, depending on the plant's age obviously, but this is really big and I think one of the most captivating parts of this plant. The margins or outer edges of the leaves are smooth and unbroken. The leaf really does display a lot of contrast and gradient with pale greens and white hues against really dark greens. It has a velvety leaf texture with fine indumentum, which is basically these tiny little hairs that go across the surface of the leaf. This helps the plant retain moisture. The upper surface of this leaf is a deep dark green with a glossy sheen and occasional bronze or copper undertones, flashed with striking red and burgundy tones that gradually fade from a deep crimson near the midrib to lighter hues along the leaf margins. The gradient of this plant is, I think, the total underlying element that makes it so special. The El Choco Red is a magical plant with a ton of details. And if you want to learn about an even more magical plant, the Philodendron Billietiae, then click this video over here.